Welcome, everybody. Today, in a special time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, my name is Alejandro Garay, and I'm with Maaco in Llano Lakes, Florida. Um, Today, we have a special guest. He's in UK, so that's why the difference in the time today. Hope you enjoy. Hope you're wrapping up your Friday, and it was a productive day. Uh, I'm going to show you guys before we bring our guest tonight. We have a giveaway with Luma people. So if you guys want to enter, if you didn't yet, just go to our post or in the Luma page as well. Both will count, and tag at least 3 painters in the industry that you think that deserve an Aurora light, the hose hang system, which is brand new, and then a t-shirt. We have a cup and a couple slaps there. So don't miss that opportunity. The deadline is on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to announce the winner right before the live session at 9 p.m. With Chris or Kirk, any of the guys at Luma. So let me bring our guests here tonight.
Hi,
Hey,
how you doing? You all right?
good, good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I've got to be a little bit quiet because my wife's asleep and I said I wouldn't wake her up. So I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Great.
Let me just. Uh, I know some of the guys here, Tony, Paul, already saying hi. Thank you guys for joining. I know it's a different time for us here. Most of the guys are getting out of work, but thank you for joining, and thank you, Wayne, for staying late.
That's
Uh,
okay, no problem.
all right,
Thanks for
so
inviting me.
no problem. And you know, of course, I don't know you in person,
No.
but I've been following you the last few months and looking up your YouTube channels and all that. So, for the people that don't know who you are, if you want to tell us a little bit of your background and how you related to the automotive industry.
Yeah, sure. I've been in the industry for about 20 years. I'm in the UK, a little county called Wiltshire, and I've been on Instagram for probably about 2 years and maybe 3 years. So it's all a bit of a learning curve for me. And I specialize in smart repairs, which is small to medium area repair techniques. So, and
Okay.
that's really my business. So I do sort of leather work, bumper scuffs, key damage, vandal damage, but I don't do full resprays. I have a lot of respect for the guys who do resprays. I don't have the patience for something like that. In fact, the job I'm doing at the moment is probably one of the biggest jobs I've done, which is a trike, and there's quite a few bits that I need to do on it. So I'm just
Okay.
written off the week for it, really.
So where is that exactly located? I saw it in the map a little bit. It's like from London is how far away?
From London, it's about 2 hours, an hour and three quarters, 2 hours. So from Heathrow Airport, and we're about half an hour from the city of Bath.
Okay.
So
All
yeah,
right.
we're in a beautiful part of the world. I'm sure there's some other guys in the UK that'll probably disagree with that, but yeah, I like it.
So you were born there and basically all your
No,
life there?
no, I was born in Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Kenya, and bizarrely, when I was at school, let me just detract, just sort of develop it. When I was at school, we there was a huge field across the school from us, and sort of overnight they built this whole like a studio in this field, and this was a field we used to play in as kids, but we weren't allowed into it. And then I found out that students from the school started to go into this, were sort of hired by this, and it was a film studio. They built this whole film studio there to film Out of Africa, and like all my friends were extras in Out of Africa. Did you ever see that movie Out of Africa?
Mm, it
Oh,
sounds familiar.
it's an old movie. It's a famous movie, but yeah. So I lived where I used to live was, I'm just reading the book about her now, actually. Where I used to live was part of her farm, so it was quite interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, and I moved to the
So,
UK.
tell me a little bit about the current situation, if it is affecting your business, your your personal life, your routine, what you do normally, the whole COVID-19.
Oh yeah, it's affected everything. It's a very weird situation. So my business, I closed my business down for a little bit. Luckily, I work on my own, so I can self-isolate anyway. I had to sort of restructure the way I did things. I had no customers coming to the workshop, so I'd go and pick up the vehicles for my customers to just limit the amount of contact that was happening. Clean the vehicles down now, clean them down again when I'm giving them back to the customers. Wrap up the seats. It's just a whole different way of thinking, and I'm quite a well, you've probably seen it. I'm quite a friendly chap. I like to just, I'm just friendly. But I
Hmm.
find now I've got customers coming to my workshop and I'm having to say, right, you stay 2 meters away, I'll stay over here. And I'm just, you lose that friendliness in a way. And that's what I find quite weird, because a lot of my customers are elderly customers anyway. And so I've got to really just take precautions for them.
I see.
And
Yeah,
I would
no.
say I would, obviously when I was shut, for the period I was shut, it was no money coming in, and being self-employed is, like a lot of the other guys, it was quite tough. Um, and then it dropped to about 45% I was running at, which is what I know. So for this time of the year, I would be looking at a lead time of about 2 months, and I'm currently running on a lead time of 2 weeks. So it just shows you people are so scared to come out,
Mm,
and
yeah. So, and it's been like that for how long now?
since March. So we're in week 6 or week 7 of it. How long have you been in? Are you in any lockdown at all?
Yeah, we started, to take some, I will say, uh, preventive, actions like kind of way before all this. I used to live in China, like 10 years ago, so still have friends over there. So I talked to them, and kind of, we knew that was coming this way and all that. So we did, take some precautions like before it really hit here. Uh, but yeah, the process with the customers, I think, is the worst. That is hitting us on how we deliver cars, especially. That's been like super challenged, and not like walking the car with the customer, and
Yeah,
normally seeing that reaction. And yeah, that's
yeah.
been the worst,
Well,
probably.
that's it. You want, I mean, you're probably the same, but you always want to give a warm welcome, discuss the car with them. They probably have got a bit of a story about how it happened, but all of those sort of things I found kind of changed a bit. It's,
Yep.
well, in fact, today I had a customer come by. She arranged to come by last week, and to come by today. She rang. She came by, and she was stood probably about 5 meters away from me, and I said to her, "No, no, you can come a little bit closer. It's okay." But there's just the nervousness is there. So
Yeah. That's Chris, my wife. She's saying March 7 was around, the last time that
I was out and
we
about.
were, yeah.
Yeah, well, we were only allowed to supposedly exercise one time a day. It's now been loosened up, relaxed a little bit more. But when it first happened, we were only allowed one outside exercise a day. Luckily, we were a garden, so we can go and spend some time in there. But my wife and I would have to alternate. So if I was running, it means we couldn't go for a walk that evening. So we'd walk together the next day, and you're not supposed to have driven anywhere. I think a lot of people are in the same, but I feel quite sorry for people who aren't in, who are struggling during this period, because I can feel how difficult it has been.
Yep. So specifically, like, if you want to tell me more about like which type of services you guys offer, um, I'm you mentioned smart repairs, and I'm kind of familiar with what it is. Maybe we do the same thing or similar things, and we don't call it like that. So, what is exactly what you guys offer?
Well, smart repairs is an acronym for small to medium area repair techniques, and it would just basically be, some people call it spot repairs, some people call it rapid repairs. and it's a bumper scuff. So if you scuff the bumper corner, you'd do the bumper corner. You wouldn't paint the whole bumper, and that you wouldn't take that whole part off unless the customer wants that part taken off. But specifically, you know, we're sort of trained to just paint the area that needs to be repaired.
Okay.
And you wouldn't, unless it was very close to the panel that was adjacent to it, or the damage went into the panel, you wouldn't tend to go into the wing if you were painting the corner or the bonnet. You would just keep it to that area. And if the door's keyed and the key door is in the center and it's a blendable repair, you just keep it to that door without having to go into another panel either side or go right down the side of the car.
Okay.
And that's really what it's about. And it's about sort of leather repairs, doing scuffs to leather seats or recoloring them. What else do I do? Alloy wheels fall in that, but I don't do alloy wheels because I've got a friend who's got around the corner from me. He's got a whole alloy wheel set up, so I just let him do that, and I just stick to what I do. I'm busy enough as that. Busy.
I just want to remind everyone that there's a little question mark button here on the bottom. So if you want to throw a question, I saw a couple of questions coming through on the comment section. Sometimes that is difficult to go back in, but let me see one here.
It's quite clever how you've set this all up, but it's been really interesting to listen to some of the other people you've had on the show.
Which one do you like, or which one do you enjoy? Do you remember?
I really liked Hillary. She's great. Oh God, who? I messaged you. I said to you, I listened to him. It was a couple of weeks back. Was it Eric?
Yes.
Yeah, I love him. He's brilliant. Yeah, you know, he does a lot for the industry as well.
So, you know, I know that probably a few things are different, you know, that how we do it here, or, you know, even like the hours of operations. Which times are you guys open normally?
I start work, so on a normal, if everything's as it is.
Normal, yeah.
Yeah, so I leave home at 6:30. I'm at my workshop by about 10 to 7. I will then, so the way I work, a lot of the English guys will know this anyway, is I will prep a car in the morning. So I get the car dropped off between 8 and 9 in the morning. I prep it in the morning, and then I shut down at 2. I don't see any customers from 2. My quoting time's between 8 to 2. And then I start painting in the afternoon. I hope to get home between sort of 4 and 5:30, around there, depending on the size of the job. And then it air dries overnight, and I could speed it up if I wanted to, but it's a better finish for me. And then I come back in the morning at 7 o'clock, polish it up, demask it, do whatever I need to do, ready for the customer to pick up at 9 o'clock and the next load to come in.
Nice.
So I'll repair 1 to 3 cars depending on the jobs a day.
So tell me about reviews. I'm super big in reviews. I think, you know, from day one, you know, before it become like super popular, I saw like flawless 5 stars everywhere.
What, on my
Yes.
page? On
Yes.
Google?
On Google. Yes.
I like to think it's because I do a good job. No, do you know what it is? It's people come to my workshop. I think it's a package. I deliver a package. So I am me. So as you see me on Instagram, that's me. That's who I am. So, and that's exactly how I am with my customers. You know, I give them time. I take a lot of pride in my job. I have no interest in cars. Don't get me wrong. You know, but cars bore me. But I love my job. So, and I take a lot of pride in my work. And you know, customers will come in and they say, they want to know, they want the reassurances that their job's going to be right. So they've seen the videos, and that's why I got into this. I started making these videos, not for Instagram as in other followers to sort of teach them. It's just led on to that, but so that my customers could see how their repair is going, and they could see all the different stages in it, so that they knew that there wasn't anything being hidden. There wasn't some part of the job that I hadn't told them about or anything like that. It was all done properly. And I think that gave them a lot of reassurance. And then I just really just say to them, you know, when they ask me what my warranty is, my guarantee is that it shouldn't fail. If it fails, come back to me and I'll just rectify it. My business is built on it not failing. So if it fails, then my business is going to fail. So when you do your job, you need to take pride in your work. If you don't have the pride in work and you can't, you know, if you let that car go out of the workshop and you, in the back of your mind, you think that that car's going to, something's going to fail and they'll be back, your business is going to fail. You need to know that that car's going back and those customers are going to be happy. They're going to tell their family, they're going to tell someone else. And you know that most of the time, a lot of my customers have been using me sort of 10, 15 years. And so I see their cars come back, not because they're bad drivers, but because someone's knocked them in the car park. So I get to see my work and I get to see, that's proof in the pudding there that everything's going well. And then I just take the time to send them an email saying, look, I hope you're happy with everything. If you are, that's great. Would you mind leaving me a review? If you're not, please come back and see me straight away. But obviously luckily that last bit doesn't happen. So I just give them a link to go and leave the review, because I think if you want someone to leave you a review, you need to make it easier for them. Because everyone is so busy nowadays. And to just say, oh yeah, can you just leave me a review on I know what it's like. If I have to try and remember to go and leave someone a review, it's really difficult. But if somebody sends me a link to leave a review, then it's there, it's on my phone. I can quickly just go on to Google or wherever it is and just leave a little review.
All right, so many questions coming through my mind, while everything that you were saying. The first one would be like, after, being in business this long, like and the marketing side, what has been working the best? What do you do? Is word of mouth that you just mentioned, repeat customers, through family members and friends, or you do something specifically besides, YouTube and Instagram?
Okay, so in the UK, we have in the area that we live, we have a little magazine booklet that goes out to the homes. It's like a telephone directory, but it's more localized. So I advertise in there, and I've always advertised in there for about, oh God, for as long as I can remember, I've always advertised in there. And that was my original form of marketing. And then I've only kept it up now because there's still a lot of the older generation that do not like mobile phones. They're not media smart or any of that sort of stuff. And they just like to pick up an old-fashioned telephone book and look for somebody. So it cost me quite a bit of money, but I still use that. It cost me about $130 a month or something like that. But okay. I still do it because it's for the older generation that are still like the old-fashioned ways. With regards to social media, what works best for me, Instagram is not a marketing tool for me with regards to getting business. Instagram for me is a way to show my work to other repairers, try and help other guys who are in the industry. Because when I got into this industry, there was nobody willing to share any information. I had to learn it all myself. And I'm quite happy to share the information. I can't, knowledge is useless if you can't share it. And it's no good to anybody if you're dead and you've not passed it on. So that's for me. Facebook is really good, but Facebook works in my videos. So that's a good localized way for people who don't know anything about me. Otherwise, most of my work nowadays is word of mouth.
Okay.
It's taken me 20 years to get there.
So how did you grow? You mentioned you've been in Instagram like just for a couple of years. How did you grow that many followers? What do you think it is?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them that question. I don't know. I look at my page and I know, all right, there's guys who've got 30,000 followers, over that 50,000 followers, and I think that's amazing. I mean, I was quite happy when I reached 100 followers, and then it's like 1,000 followers. But just recently, Ali, and literally, I'm saying recently, like the last couple of weeks, I've realized it's not about the amount of followers you have. You can have 50,000 followers, but out of that 50,000 followers, how many of those are genuine people that are going to learn from what you want to teach them? So I would rather have my smaller amount of followers that I've got and know that they are
more engaged.
Yeah, exactly. Then have a huge number that is just like a token figure there. I mean, it looks good for companies coming in and think, whoa, yeah, he's got 50,000 followers, but it's not always relative.
So you mentioned that you started doing the videos, to show customers, the process and what you do and all that. But also I've seen, a lot of reviews of products. So that was something that it's just sideways what you were doing, or you started to actually also show products because you think that that's also beneficial to show the type of products that you use, that normally, they're good products, they're quality products.
Yeah, I think with the products, I mean, obviously, it's taken me a while to get there, but I've approached companies to ask them if they'd be interested in it, and I've had a lot of people say no, not interested at all. But it started off with me finding the products because, like you may know this, you buy some tools and they look good and they just don't work, and so those tools get put aside. Then you buy another tool, and again that doesn't work really work. So from learning from all the mistakes that I've made on tools, I try and now show tools that I know day in day out work for me. So any of the products that I sort of say you see me use is tools that I'm genuinely using that benefit my day. And of course, then there's a few other things that come through that I just chat about, and so just a bit of product knowledge, and I'm learning from them as well. So if it's really just about making myself a little smarter and just helping others not make the mistakes that I've made.
I've seen. So, do you have like any like a sponsor or anything like that, or most of the products that you have that you review are just products that you just bought to use in
Yeah,
the shop?
most of the products I've got is products I've bought. I mean, a couple of them have been given to me, but you know, can you say they've been given to you? Because I don't know, if I make the time to make the video and use it and put all of my time into that editing, there's a value to that, isn't there? So I don't think that it's not literally you've got that for free and you haven't had to put anything back to it. You've still had to put your own time back in to make that work. But I don't tend to show anything that I don't think will work, and I also won't slate another product, because I don't want to be those people say, oh yeah, this sander is absolutely crap, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do this manufacturer are really bad, and I just won't do that. If it doesn't work, I just don't talk about it.
Okay, so basically you focus on the positives, basically that the product has on it, and you try to keep it that portion, as honest as you can. Basically, if I show up tomorrow and I'm like, oh, look at my sandpaper, but please, don't say anything bad. Do you have those type of situations, or when they give you the products, it's more like, hey, honest, I just want you to tell me.
Some guys will honestly want the feedback. Others will say, don't tell me anything, don't say anything. But if I'm not allowed to say anything, and it's genuine, I have a product now, a sanding disc that works quite well, but I find that the formation of the holes do not collate with the Maaco sander that I have.
Okay.
So you're not getting the full extraction from it. And so I can't say that the disc is rubbish, because I'm not actually using that disc to its full potential, because I don't have the machine that disc is designed for. So at the same time, I can't feature it and say, I can't start sanding with it and use it every day and say, look, there you go, this just doesn't work, don't waste your money on it. Because until I have the machine that goes with that disc, the manufacturer made, I can't give a genuine reason why it doesn't work. And also, the thing is, the way I work is quite different to other people. So a product might work really, really well for me. You use that product and you might say, Wayne, you're talking crap. It just does not work in my shop. So it's really on your knowledge and on the way you want it to work.
How do you handle that? We were talking with a few of the guys that have, like Gabriel with Motivated Painters, have what I call a huge YouTube channel, for many reasons. So how do you handle, because it's pretty brave what you do, right? Because you're showing how to videos, you're showing reviews on product, and as you say, it might not work for everyone. Not all of us have the same preference. If not, we would buy all the same spray gun and all the same sanding paper, right? So how do you handle negative comments or comments that, literally are not constructive?
I think everyone has a right to their own comment. And if somebody wants to leave a comment on something because they've used it, then I think that's justified. But what I don't want is I don't want a comment on a post where they are literally insulting the company, because I don't think there's any need for that. So if you look at the last, what was it? I put a post up a day ago about some product, something that I was using. Oh, the Kovac standing disc, which I really like. And so I just opened it up to everyone else to give me their feedback. And some people like it, some people don't. But I think if somebody comes on and is really negative about it and negative about the company, that doesn't help anyone. You can say that you don't like a product and give a justifiable reason why that product doesn't work for you. But at the same time, just don't be rude about other people.
Okay. So, tell me if is there any reason why or not? Why is it a one man show? Your shop?
Because I struggle to give up control. That's
Okay.
the honest opinion. I need to know. I'm quite controlling like that, in a way that I almost have a bit of OCD. I need to know that I've done all the stages of repair. If anything goes wrong, it's my fault. That uh, I just cannot say, right, go do the job. And it's not because I haven't been busy enough to take somebody on in the past, because I have, but I just don't. I just cannot say, yeah, I just can't do it. I don't know. I need to know that the job is done, and if something goes wrong with it, it is my fault, not somebody else's fault. And I don't want to be making excuses for somebody messing something up because they didn't do it the way I did.
So it's been like that for the 20 years basically that you've been in business?
Yeah, yeah, just me day in day out.
Well,
So
and we talked with Hillary also about how many things are involved when you're a shop owner, regardless if you're one person or if you're 50 person, 50 people. So how do you handle like everything else? Like when do you have time to do everything else that involve, to manage a shop? Like just to send an email for a review. When do you do that?
it's it's hard. It's hard. It's in the evenings. You come back in the evenings, and like my wife Sarah will say to me, "What are you doing? Who are you messaging at 8 o'clock at night?" I just trying to catch up with, just answering a question about a product or whatever it is. So I've had to learn, and I think this, in fact, this whole COVID thing has sort of helped me as well. I've had to learn to take a back step, try and keep things within a certain period of time, and just get some life back, really. At the same time, without ignoring anyone and without hurting anyone, or not being able to answer any questions.
Yeah, I have a theory about that. All this happened, to kind of make us all step back a little bit and slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
I did it myself. I haven't been in the shop in a while, and then of course, I miss it, and it's hard. But all this is the product of the current situation. I would never like go live every day and do this. It's impossible. So. Um, Tell me a little bit about another topic that we were talking, and I'm curious to see how it is down there. Uh, Even again, you don't have employees, but how it's been, if you have seen it around like trade schools, how it is over there with getting the new generation actually in the business.
there is. There are a couple of places that train people, and you get certified. I mean, I think that was something else that I've learned from some of the guys you talk to that have gone to the colleges and got all these certificates. I don't have any of that. Everything that I know, I've taught myself. And that, when we spoke earlier this week, and I was quite nervous about coming on here, and I said to you, I don't think that I'm in the league of any of these other guys, because I don't have those qualifications. I have some knowledge, but I don't have the qualifications like Hillary does, where she's gone and done the course, and she's, I don't know. So now I learn as much as I can. I try, and when somebody comes by, if a rep comes by, I try and drain them of as much knowledge as I possibly can out of what they've got, and then just go and study it. But there are definitely some really good places to learn here. But and I think it's still it's I don't know how to say it. I don't think it's as as good as places like, from what I hear from the States and Canada and places like that, that have actually make you have to do these courses before you go and work in shops. I think
Okay.
you know, you can still go and do a 2-week course in smart repairs and then get yourself a van, and out there you're out on the road earning money, or trying to.
Well, I felt like offensive when you mentioned that that you didn't qualify for this.
Did you?
No, 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 no. I'm kidding. But it's not about that. It's not about how many certifications do you have. In the first half hour, you probably contribute more than a lot of people, and you help probably a lot of people, and you can see here in the comments. And actually, I've been wrapping up next week. And on Friday, I'm not going to say who it is because he's going to be on the show, and I'm going to announce it over the weekend. But he told me that he has been 45 years practicing. That was his words,
45
right?
years.
Uh,
That's a
so
long time. We never learn. We never stop learning, though. Every day is a learning day.
right, and you will see who it is, and I know everyone will be excited as well. For him to be humble, to say 45 years practicing, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Is that unbelievable? So yes, and that also has been a pretty common topic on everyone that has been here on Keep Learning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Regardless from if it is from a college or from your high school or from your daily basis, what you do. Um, so in regards to that, like, what is like the most common question that you normally get? I don't know if it is the same audience that you have in YouTube, that you have in Instagram or in Facebook, but what are those common, questions that normally come across to you?
I don't actually get one specific question that comes. It just depends whatever I post that day. But yeah, there's not one that I can say everybody always asks me.
Or request, like people like more like when you do a product, when you do a tool, what do you have a better response?
I think I had a lot of response from, and this is why I sort of changed my videos. I had somebody say to me, especially they're from a country that doesn't speak English, and they said, could you make the video with some, like a little ticket tape along the bottom so that we can read it and stop it and understand what we're saying. So now that's what I try and do. So I've made my life even harder. On Facebook, it's just a plain 1-minute video just of the repair I've done so the customers can see. Instagram and LinkedIn, it's a more educational video, so it'll have what's happening, the tools I'm using, why I'm using them, and so you can sort of understand what's going on and then take what you want from it. But it's made my life more complicated. I know.
No, I know what you mean. Yep. So I think we skip the part. How did you get into this?
I,
What happened 20 years ago?
well, the guys that have heard me speak before in the UK, I was I was really naughty at school. I didn't probably work as hard as I should have, and yeah, I got into quite a bit of trouble, and
You were
and
young.
I was young, yeah, exactly, and I knew everything. There was nothing the world could teach me. I knew it all. So I left school at a very early age, about 16, and I went and became a safari guide. And
Okay.
yeah, no schooling. I just picked up a few books, read a few things, talked my way through it. So there I am taking these clients that had paid thousands of dollars on safari. I had a love for animals, which helped, and a love for the people, so that was good. So we'd do like the safari business, and I did that for some time, and then I just decided it was time to leave. So I left there and came to the UK. Badly planned. I was planning to head to America
Okay.
on a trip to go and see some clients, but I didn't get my visa in place or anything like that. So I sort of stayed here where I had some family, and there wasn't much call for the safari world out here. So I ended up doing a 2-week course actually in smart repairs, and then just taught myself. And that's it, really. That's how I am where I am now. And I moved from being in a van, driving around, doing the smart repairs, to taking on a unit. And in the unit, I still had my van. So I drive my van into the unit, work on the car. So that my van was still my mobile body shop. And I thought, this is crazy. So I've got my van, I'm paying for a workshop, but everything is in my van. And then I drive up to a job for the day. So then I'm missing the customers coming to my workshop where I'm trying to build up this business. And so I just took everything out the van and put it in there, and I just stopped going mobile. And it was quite a big hit. But I did that, and I just sort of then moved into another unit which is slightly bigger, and that's where I am, and it's been good.
You know what I like, when I hear these stories, and it happened with Tony last night as well, that uh, when I hear it, it sounds pretty lightly. Last night the example was that, oh, and this guys went and bought 150 guns, back in the 60s or whatever. I'm like, well, you're saying like super lightly that, oh, they bought 150 guns, and you're saying like, oh, the transition, to mobile, to it's crazy that step to going from mobile, to open your own place and basically change the whole structure of your business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
So,
It's quite a scary leap, and that's why I have so much admiration for these guys who manage 3 or 4 vans on the road, or they've got a shop that's putting through, or 2 or 3 shops, or 10 shops that have got 24-hour staff and do it. And I just think that's amazing, because I just know I couldn't do that. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. Um,
delegate.
yeah, I couldn't do it. And I'd love to be able to do that, but then I think, am I making my life even more complicated by having all these staff members? Do I just keep it as me? It's just me. Come home, go for a run, go for the weekend. Okay, I don't earn any money if I go on holiday, because I've got to cram everything into to pay for the 2 weeks that I'm on holiday because I'm not earning anything. Or do I then take some employees on, and then you've got to manage their salaries? Yeah, I have a lot of respect for guys who do that. I mean, even the people you got on here that work in these large shops with people or own the shops, and I just think, hats off to you. I know I couldn't do it.
So how big is the shop? Like you you can fit like a couple cars, few cars, or
Yes.
what?
So I have 2 bays. I have one bay which is my office in the background, at the back, and my paint shop, paint mixing room, and then in the front is sort of where yeah, henchmen, definitely not going to do it. And then in the front is sort of like a handover, just not really prep, but I opened it up to do plastic welding repairs for training
Okay.
people, but that sort of slowed down a bit. And then on the other side is the main big workshop, which is my workshop, which is where I prep all the cars in the morning. It's got heating in there. Then I close it down, and that becomes my paint shop in the afternoon, because it's got all the extractors in it. So it's one big unit, and I could probably fit one. I can fit 3 cars in there nicely if I need to.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, jump back and forth and all this. So I want to go back, a little bit about products and tools and stuff like that. Since you've been reviewing, you have like, I don't know, what, like 300 videos or something like that in YouTube. Um, Tell me like a product that really like impressed you, like a tool. Let's talk about a tool first that you were like, maybe you were a little, I don't know about this, and then you try it and it blew your mind, and it's
Straight away, it's the UV priming, the UV guns. At the time, I mentioned this, the Kev, a few weeks ago, from Premier Smart Repairs. I was using a gas heater to, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a special unit that basically will cure your filler and your primer in a couple of minutes. And it's quite a good technology, and so I was happy with that. And then I had a company, and these guys have got sort of 10 body shops, and they're very well respected, and they contact me and they said, look, we've got this UV lamp, we'd like to bring it over to you. His name's Lee Warback. I'd like to bring it over to you, and we've helped develop it, and see what you think. And I said, listen, I've got this other unit, and it works really well. I don't think you can beat it. He said, no, come on, I'll come over and see you. So he drove about 2 hours to come and see me, an hour and a half, something like that. And I was just blown away. Literally, he came. He got some. he got some primer, and he came with some Glazeret primer, and we did a little repair on the panel, and it was just like 30 seconds that was cured. And I thought, that's just fantastic. And so he left the lamp with me and let me just use it and see what I thought and understand it better. And it's just grown from there. From that lamp, I've got a slightly bigger one now, the heads and cure, which will allow me, if I wanted to do, I could do a whole door in probably 2 minutes, cure a whole
Wow.
door. Yeah. I mean, and so the technology for me has been the game changer. I mean, I am so appreciative of Lee and Steve, who's the other guy who owns the company, and said, come down and see me. I'm just so appreciative of them giving me that opportunity, because it just opened a door to something that I would never have done before.
So before you were like using like regular primer and waiting hours and
Well, I was using a single pack high build primer that comes out of a rattle can.
okay.
Because there are some really good products out there. Rattle cans in the brackets, they're not all bad. You just got to know what products you want to
Yeah,
use.
we have that kind of perspective from here, that if it's in a can, it's no good. And actually now there's a UV, almost every manufacturer, every like main paint manufacturer has a UV in a can as well, besides,
Exactly.
like a quart.
Although I have a point about that. The product that you get in a can is, so you'll actually get about a third of that can is the actual product itself. So say you've got, what's the best way to do this? So if you've got 100 ml of product in that can, and you can buy a litre of that product for 50 quid, that means you're getting a thousand ml for 50 pounds or $50, all right? But in the rattle can, you're getting, and the rattle can will cost you $20. So you're then paying $20 for 100 ml, and you're getting 10 times that for $30 more. So a lot of people think the convenience of a rattle can is great, but when you look at the actual cost of what you're spending, it's better to buy it in a tin and put it through the gun.
Correct.
But there are some, so like back to the rattle can. So yes, that's what I was using as a 1K rattle can, but I was really selective on the product I was using and the manufacturer that I was getting it from, and it worked really well. But you still had to wait 15 minutes under infrared to cure it fully. And so that's now down to waiting 1 minute. So I'm saving myself 14 minutes on that. I could already have it painted by the time I would have waited for the old conventional way to cure. And if you're working with 2K primers, you're looking at slightly longer than that as well.
Yeah, which we do. We're in a transition now. The UV here. Um, Basically, it was like a myth about how expensive was the gun and all that, and the technology basically wasn't there. And today's day, it's more expensive the primer than the gun.
Yeah.
Not quite like that, but
No,
I'm
no, no.
exaggerating. But yes, we are also in a transition on. We do primarily like mid collision. So, and most of the time, we can't use it, but small repairs. And I'm assuming that for you was like a big game changer. You already described it, but I was, going to ask you about UV product on a completely separate topic. But I understand
Sorry.
that no. That's fine because I understand that was probably a material and a tool, that definitely a game changer in what you do.
Yeah. It's been a big game changer, and I think there's also a lot of other smart repairs that have sort of come onto it because they've seen me use it and realize that it's not a cheap product. But like you said, the primer is quite expensive when you compare it to the old stuff we have. But I find that you're getting so a tin of Glazeret UV primer for me, which is it is 1,000 ml, so 1 litre. It lasts me 4 months with all the jobs that I do. So that's maybe 4 or 5 months. So that's quite a long time because you don't need as much. You're getting such a good build out of it, and you only need 1 to 2 coats. It's when you work out the cost of that, that's £25 a month because it's an expensive product here. So it's about $140. So you're looking at sort of $30-40 a month, but that's still not a lot when you think how much you'd be spending on conventional sort of primers.
I see. So tell me about tape. I know probably that one is also a very important product in your shop. What do you use? What did you try? Which brands are common over there? I'm not familiar with it.
So I've probably been like you, gone through all the different brands, the 3Ms, there's Norton, there's Indasa, there's the Q1 tape, which is the yellow one, you've seen that around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have, that's I really like that tape. I use J tape at the moment. I find that for me, it's the whole package. So I use a lot of their soft edge foam masking products. I don't know if you've seen me use those.
Yep.
Because a lot of the times I'm doing blends on areas or up to swage lines. And I find that their soft edge masking products work really, really well on that. I know there's loads of guys who like to fold up the tape the old fashioned way, but I find that the foam for me works best. And
Okay.
so that's the products that I really like. Door shuts and just swage lines, yeah.
So what happened like if a customer requests to take everything apart and do it as close as let's say the OEM procedure request and all that? You can do that? Are you okay with that? You'd rather be out of those? What do you if it is a cosmetic, it's no structural damage, let's say it's a dent on a bumper, but they ask you, to take the bumper off and and do it that way.
Sure, I'll do it. If they want me to take the bumper off and strip it back, I'll strip it back. But a lot of the times they don't want to do that. They just want to know that they're going to get a sound repair and it's going to fit their budget. So if I have to take the bumper off and strip it all back down, that's all adding to it. So you're talking, I don't know, say a bumper corner at £140 depending on the damage plus the VAT, and they're happy with that. I'll always try and drop the corner. I'll take the parking sensors out, so I'll do all of that as part of it anyway. Take the brake light out, but if you then have to take the bumper off, you run the risk of certain cars. They're fitted a certain way that something might break on them if you try and take it off. Or
you need to reset something.
Or you need to reset the ADAS. Yeah, exactly. So all of these kind of things that you just need to make them aware of it. And then that's their choice. It's their budget at the end of the day. But as long as you're adhering to the safety of the vehicle, because what I don't want is I don't want my customer going out and it's not safe for them. And in fact, I had in fact one of the reviews that was just left on my Google site the other day was from a customer who brought me his car to do the repair, and it looked like I could do it all. And then by the time I'd taken the bumper off, he had actually damaged it. He had damaged part of the frame of the quarter, and I just couldn't do it. And I could have easily, and there are some people that could have just done the job that they were being paid to do and not mentioned it, but that's not what I'm about. So I took the photos for the customer. I did a full-on quote, just said, look, it's not for me. I don't have the kit to straighten this out. You need to go and speak to your body shop, your insurer, and get it done through someone who can pull it out and put a new panel on it, whatever it needs to do. But I can't.
Even with something that probably putting the bumper back on, the customer will never see it, or it wouldn't affect the bumper fitting or anything like that. But
they would never have known. He didn't even know until I took it off. And he even put a new light in there. So because you've broken the brake light, so he'd even actually put a new light in there, and he hadn't even noticed it. But when I took everything apart to do the job, so I earned no money that day, but I know that I was honest, and that's for me better. And obviously he was, because he left me a nice review, which was really good.
yeah, that's nice. So how's it work with like insurance down there? Like, do you get customers that come with like insurance claims already? Again, when it's something that you can do, again, know that you can do, that you will accept to do.
Yeah, I'm really strict on this. I will provide the customer with an insurance quote, but I will not do the work for the insurance company. So the customer can then go back to the insurance company. The company will give them the quote. The insurance company will ring me and say, yeah, we authorize it. I said, that's great. I'm quite happy to do it. But you need to settle with the customer, and the customer settles with me. So that way I know I've done the job. When I hand the keys back to the customer, I'm not having to wait 30 days for the insurance company to pay for me. I get my money straight away. And if there's any parts that are required, that has to be paid for in advance. I don't order any parts in without receiving payment in advance, because I'm running a business at the end of the day. I can't have £300 or £400 tied up in parts somewhere for a couple of weeks. So that would be like taking the deposit on the car. So if they want me to do the job, they pay for their parts in advance. That's their deposit, because I know they're going to come back and I'm not out of pocket. I have a friend who has a body shop. He bought some parts for a car. Customer never turned up. And he couldn't return the parts because they were non-refundable, special order.
Yep.
And so
Yeah,
that
we
just
all we all learning the hard way, that one.
yeah, it doesn't make business sense.
So, what happened if there's no parts involved? You normally ask for a down payment as well?
Deposit. Every job has to have a deposit to confirm the booking, yeah. And it's
Oh,
normally £75 plus the tax, which is 90 quid.
okay, and then they pay in full when they're happy, when they look at the vehicle and
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Oh, but they won't get the car back unless I'm happy with the vehicle.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't go back unless I know it's right. So yeah, and sometimes we do a job and I've done it and I've come in the morning and I've looked at it and I thought that's not quite right. And when you've done a long day, it all looks, you're not sure whether your mind's playing tricks with you. And I've come in the morning and I said, look, clear head, come in the morning, just check it out. And I've come in and I've seen it's not right. And I've rung the customer up as early as I possibly can, not at 7 o'clock in the morning, but at 8, and said, look, I'm really not happy with this car. Can I have it for another day? And I'll just rectify it. So it does happen. It's not every job is perfect.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. No, we know that, we have those as well, of course. Everyone does. So we are like, believe it or not, almost an hour here. I know it's super late over there, but I really want to know as much as possible about your business. When I think it's great that it's just another I will say branch of the industry. I wanted to know more about the way that you do business. And again, if we inspire or help one person today, that's the main goal. And thank you again for staying late.
That's okay.
Uh,
It's past my bedtime.
it is way past. Well, I already told you my schedule, so
Yeah.
I have a long day ahead. But thank you again, and thank you and everyone for joining. Now I know, as you probably noticed already, we can save this in IGTV, so it's going to stay there as long as the page is alive. So if anyone missed it tonight or this afternoon here, you guys can come back and watch it again. And thanks.
Take it steady, my friend. You're doing a great job, by the way. It's really good what you're doing. I think just keep it up.
I will.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too.